Hey everybody, welcome to a fresh month. We are talking about the energy update specifically for business owners and entrepreneurs in November of 2023. Every month, I summarize the information that I channel specifically for business owners, and I boil it down to 5 main themes so that it's easily digestible and we can do something with it. This energy report for November is exclusive to entrepreneurs and small business owners. So if you're looking for relationship advice, drop a comment below this video, and I will be so happy to point you in the direction of some amazing readers here on YouTube who specialize in relationships. But if you're here for business, this is what we're here for. We need our own special space as business owners, and this reading is exclusively dedicated to business concepts and growth. If you tuned in for our October energy report, you'll remember that space for reflection showed up in a really big way. And now that we're heading into November already, I know, you're going to see how this starts to show up in a really practical way, and it's really beautiful and it's deeply healing if you're willing to do the work. The reason why is because without all of that spacious to process the emotional, energetic flow, you're going to end up feeling like you've been flooded with too much data, too much emotional data, or you're also going to feel just incredibly stagnant. You might be wondering, how does this flow in with business? So remember that money is a source of energy. And as business owners, money and therefore the energy is like oxygen to our businesses. That energy really wants to flow. It's starting to pick up a momentum and a speed, and it's going down new channels and avenues, and it's really exciting right now. But it's also really emotional. The emotional flow goes hand in hand with that energetic flow around money. So basically, this is the month we're going to clear the drains. We're going to make sure that everything that needs to drain can drain and that water can flow where it needs to go. Before we get into the 5 main themes, I would love it if you would take 2 simple actions that help keep the content on this channel moving and growing so that I can continue bringing you more of these energy reports every month. The first action is to smash that subscribe button below this video and also to click the thumbs up like button. Those 2 simple actions, remarkably enough, help me bring more of this to you in a way that helps me grow the channel and grow the reach, which means we can all hang out here more together. Whenever I do energy reports, I always invite you to share this with a friend. In business, we always seem to have that one super woo-woo friend that we'll talk about metaphysical concepts with in relation to our businesses. Go ahead and share this with them so that you can look at the concepts together and you can have a conversation and start processing them and support each other through all of this growth. And then if you really like this video, look to the show notes right below the video. Right at the top, you can subscribe to my weekly emails. They're free, and you get a free Tarot Akashic reading every single week inside your inbox on Saturdays. All right, let's get into the themes. You're going to notice something really interesting with these themes, and honestly, it surprised the heck out of me while I was doing my channeling practice. I discovered that these themes really stack on top of each other. They're like buildable layers, and so you need one layer, and then you get the next one, and then you get the next one. You can think of it like going through a video game, where as you go through each successive level, you gain more and more points and more skills, and you have more to work with to get to the end result. Level 1, we're talking about creating spaciousness. Now, spaciousness is not to be confused with a slowdown or with stopping anything, or even with getting rid of things like minimalism. And while those things are happening kind of all the time, really, in our modern age with energy, when we're talking about creating spaciousness, we're not talking about stopping anything. We're talking about creating more room so that things can flow and therefore grow. So in this first theme for the month, what we want to do is look at our calendars and look at the space, our environment around us. How do we create more space for our time, our energy, and our attention so that we can work on the things that are true priorities? And knowing what is a priority is a big part of how we move through this month of November. That note on priorities brings us up into level 2 in our game this month, and that is that focus comes from having very clear identity. The truth is that the path to all the obvious offers for people to say an automatic yes to you in your business are developed by really knowing you at your core and your identity. It means that you're going to be discovering all the aspects of yourself on a personal level. A truly great CEO is fully aware of their light aspects and their shadow aspects, and they know how to utilize both of those aspects in the right scenarios at the right time. The way this came in was very nuanced, and I thought it was super interesting because in this world where AI is developing very rapidly, the way that you build an unshakable brand is created through this sense of your humanity and having that very strong connection to your identity as a human. You show up irrefutably as yourself, and there is no question that you are who you say you are. When there's no question that you are fully relatable as a human to other humans, it is a skill and a natural ability that machine-generated personas absolutely cannot ever do. They can come really close, but it's interesting. The closer they become to being more and more human, the greater the difference humans are able to perceive when something is machine-generated versus totally human, being totally authentic, being totally you. And other humans are going to want to interact with you. They're going to want that trust, and you're going to be able to give it to them when you know your identity. Once you gain an awareness of that identity, we get into our third level of the game this month. And that is that identity comes from doing the work, capital T and capital W. So what is the work? We hear this a lot out in the metaphysical community and in the business community. And I don't know that anyone ever really describes this very well. So I'm going to describe it for you in the way that I typically work on it with my clients. When we do the work, we're talking about doing the unglamorous things. It's the behind the scenes work of doing deep work with a high level coach or learning skills that you actually need, but not collecting pieces of paper. So not yet another certification or another coaching program or another degree. And this is where it gets real personal. And I think it's very timely for the timeline that we are living in right now. And that is that doing the work means getting the therapies that you need in order to heal the parts of yourself personally so you can show up in your best expression as a CEO. When you do the work, it means you are addressing your own humanity. And by addressing your humanity, it means you can bring greater compassion into the world. Remember that your business is an energetic entity and it is a part of you. It has been born from you. And so whatever you develop in your own humanity and your compassion skills is going to transfer through your business. The humans on the other side who are your customers are going to feel that from you. They are craving it right now. And it is something that is well worth developing starting this month. That leads us into our fourth level of the game this month. And that is that nothing is created in a vacuum. I mean, it seems like it's pretty obvious at this point, at least I hope it is. If you're running a business, you know that you can't do everything all by yourself. I feel like for a lot of people this month, this fourth theme is actually going to be pretty simple. It could be something like meeting up with your peer mastermind and having constructive dialogue and processing your thoughts and your feelings and giving yourself that spaciousness from the first theme so that you can work on these processing skills. Just remember that you want to be talking with people who are at the same growth level. So some of this month may be you figuring out, where do I still fit in? Where do other people fit in with me? And then readjusting things so that you can fine tune how you are getting that processing in. But not doing things alone might also be something on the other end of the spectrum, which is much bigger, like hiring people to work with you inside of your business. And what you're doing when you're not operating in a vacuum is you are working on learning how to work better with the other people. This is kind of magical because it goes along with these themes that have been stacking up on each other. When you learn to work with other people in any capacity in your business, it helps you connect with your humanity and their humanity, and that has a ripple effect out into the world. The process of learning how to smooth out the wrinkles in communication inside your business means that you are healing a collective energy in the world right now. These simple basic actions that we do just to grow business because it's what we have to do have a much larger impact, which leads us to the fifth and final theme of the month, which is pretty profound. Unless you've been living under a rock this month, you know that our world has a lot of very high tension right now. If this was like a string on a violin or guitar, it has been tuned a little too high and it's getting tighter and tighter and the pitch is getting higher and higher. Remember that we live in a both and world. And so what we're doing here is that we are identifying how collective peace is created through the micro universe that exists in you. So in your both and existence, you can exist with all the activism in the world and also, a big and also, you must be fully committed to doing the internal work through therapy and through mindset development and all of the other higher level leadership skills that are required of you as a CEO. This means you're going to be taking actions, practical actions in your business every month. Everything from the boring things that involve like pushing papers around and getting them where they need to go, all the way to making really big strategic decisions about how you're going to offer something or who you're going to hire or how you're going to work with some clients. When you are taking actions, what it does is it opens this beautiful doorway for you to operate in real time with your light aspects and your shadow aspects. And when you're able to activate the shadow side of your existence, you can find your blind spots. You can find the ways in which those shadow aspects show up for you in a very strong way. And you can also find the ways in which your light aspects might be holding you back because they're just taking over just a little bit too much. It's an unbalanced picture. We're taking everything into a practical, everyday, actionable place rather than just thinking about them in a theoretical sense. And at its core, that is the crux of running a business. This month is really reminding us that business comes down to a personal aspect, that we have values and that we have morals and we have obligations and we have all kinds of things that we wish and want to do. And this is a time for us to actually tap into the heart-centered part of why we became a CEO and how to operate in that expression in the highest capacity possible. Every month when I channel these themes, I always start to get a glimmer of what's coming up. Like I can kind of see down the pipeline, down the calendar. And I can just tell you that as we get into December, there is a little bit of the feeling of a foot coming off of the gas pedal. So there's a little bit of some breathing, but the emotional tensions are still really high. And that carries all the way through the new year. So what I would recommend is that you take things one day at a time and you start with what are the goals this month. Really look over these energetic update points and see how you can incorporate them into your everyday activities as a business owner. If you find that you want to dive deeper into this, I'll just tell you that in my weekly newsletters, you can click the link in the show notes below this video. The link is right at the top. You can subscribe for free. And the weekly readings that have been coming out for the last few weeks have really been very strongly around this concept of doing that work, the work with a capital T and the capital W, and all the practical things that go along with it on a much more micro level because we're looking at it week by week. So if that interests you, you're going to find that support in that space. For everybody else, I will see you next month in your next energy update. In the meantime, don't forget to hit subscribe and the thumbs up like button. Those two simple actions help me know that you want more of this content, helps me keep it going on this channel, and helps other people find it as well so that we can continue growing this around here and we can do more and more of it. I will see you next time. Have a fantastic month of November. It feels like it has the potential to be incredibly healing. And I, for one, am really excited to see how you bring the humanity into your business as well. So until next time, remember to be sensible, be woo, and most of all, be you.